No, I wanted to be a vet, but then I realised I talked too much and I'd get bored talking to animals. I'd go insane.
Talking to them.
They don't talk back to you.
So this week's question is all about medicine in popular culture, TV and film.
Casualty.
Holby City.
I love medical TV shows. Die Hard Grey's Anatomy fan. I watched 14 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, I think, during year 13, and somehow managed to do A-levels at the same time. Yeah, Grey's Anatomy for me is just the top of the medical shows. No one can say anything different.
I remember I watched a bit of Grey's Anatomy, but I was already in uni at that point. And then I just found it annoying. Everyone was just really dramatic and annoying.
So I used to watch Grey's Anatomy. I feel like everybody used to watch that. Funnily enough, I stopped watching it since, coming to med school. I lost interest, to be honest. So I think it just started to be a bit fake, in my opinion. I just lost interest.
What's the other guy on TV called? Dr.
Hillary.
He's cute.
Yeah,
he's
cute.
really cute.
Why do I join Grey's? I think it's so ridiculous that it's just good. Does that make sense? Like, it's so stupid. They do have medical writers, so actually some of the stuff that comes in is fairly accurate.
I think I like the American ones. I don't really like the British ones.
I hate the American ones.
No, but they're just like, they're not really about the medicine. Although there was a question, our first or second year exam that I knew the answer to because of Grey's Anatomy. I'm not even joking. And maybe that's why I passed. So,
When I was in second year on my cardiology ward, there was a patient that had Takotsubo's cardiomyopathy, and I knew what it was because I watched a Grey's Anatomy episode. So no one can really say that Grey's isn't revision because it actually is.
I didn't really watch anything like Grey's Anatomy. Oh, I remember watching Scrubs. I watched Scrubs. Did you ever watch that?
No.
House MD, he's another popular one. Scrubs, that's another really, really good show.
First depiction of a doctor I remember was House from House MD, that TV show. He doesn't wear the white coat, wears what he wants. He is middle-aged, middle-class, white man. That was the first kind of picture I think I had of a doctor.
These are all American. Often you find like the American TV shows are a bit more fun, a bit more creative. The British ones only recently have tried to do that, but because of like the NHS and the reality of that, they're a lot more sort of grounded in reality. The NHS is the world's 5th largest employer, so you can't just make up really weird series about it because there's a lot of people in the UK work in the NHS.
this is not my first depiction, but I have a really strong memory. I must have been like early teenage years. So for context, my dad is a GP. I remember one time turning on the TV and I think Casualty was on. I saw someone vomit up blood, and I turned the TV off straight away, and I turned to my dad who did medicine, is a doctor, whatever, and I was like, I'm never doing medicine ever. And then I just ended up here, I don't really know why.
There's that like junior doctor program on BBC, the one where they filmed loads of junior doctors on the wards and stuff. And I remember there was like this one girl, and she was an F1 I think, and she got asked by a consultant like something to do with stomas. And like the consultant basically asked like what type of stoma this patient had, and then she said the name, and then the consultant was like, no, because that's the part of the bowel that they removed, so like how can she have a stoma like that? And I was like, and then we learned about stomas, and I was like, oh, I don't know, that just always stuck in my head, like her getting grilled by this consultant and not knowing a stoma.
I like the documentary stuff. The junior doctor ones are quite funny as well because they like show you their like weaknesses, and then not everyone's not the best F1. And they show you that on purpose, I think. But my brother used to watch one before coming to med school, and those junior doctors documentaries made him want to.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I've loved all the like BBC Three junior doctor documentaries. In fact, the BBC Three, I think it was BBC or BBC Three junior doctor documentaries was the sort of final push for me to decide to do medicine after I'd weighed up all the pros and cons. Just seeing the like day-to-day life, the tasks that they had to do, and I felt like it was a very realistic. My want to do wasn't abstract, then it became sort of solidified by that.
So my one when I was probably maybe like 13, 14 was Scrubs, which I absolutely loved. I loved that. I thought it was really funny. I did watch Grey's Anatomy for a bit, but that is on like season 400 and I just gave up, to be honest.
I did used to watch 24 Hours on A&E with Mum and Dad.
I only really watched it as I got older.
Yeah, I won't watch it anymore. Sometimes like when you've been on placement all day, the last last thing I want to do is sit there and listen to more doctors talk about like something medical. I don't know, like I feel like it ruins it for you.
I personally
It's funny to
don't watch
watch
anything
now.
medical now,
I don't.
except when they did Hospital and they filmed it in Liverpool.
Oh yeah, like a documentary.
A
I do like.
documentary, yeah,
I
that-
still like 24 Hours in A&E and things like that, and I really liked that when I was at school. Yeah, get to hear people's stories and their home life and what's brought them into hospital, and how it affects their family. I find it really emotional. I'm just a big crier, and so I always cry at it and get really emotionally invested.
Holby City's last episode today, ever. They had some like really like overly attractive doctors, and is a doctor ever looking that good? When they working?
3 night shifts in a row, like bags under their eyes. I like Amir Khan.
Amir Khan, oh
Yeah,
he's brilliant.
he's such like a good.
I only watch GPs behind closed doors because I knew people. I make my chef from work with, and I'd message people. I just see everyone on it.
I watched the first episode recently of that Adam K.
I haven't seen that.
I saw the first and last episode of This Is Going to Hurt because I started watching the first episode and then I went to your house and they had the last episode on.
The new Adam K thing.
I watched it.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I read the book and I really liked the book and I've been to see him and stuff. And I liked the TV show, but they kind of like changed it to dramatise it and it kind of ruined the messages. I thought, like, I think it was important to make everyone understand that, because the whole last chapter of his book is all about the emotional burden and it's horrific and no wonder so many doctors commit suicide and all this, and it's supposed to be like a strong message, and I think it just got ruined a little bit.
Adam Kay is an interesting chap, but that series is quite interesting actually. We did. I think a lot of doctors and just healthcare workers in general enjoyed that series.
Yeah.
Honestly, it stressed me out. I was
Yeah,
like
it did
sweating
scare
watching
me
it. I haven't
quite a
watched the rest of it, like, because I loved the book. Like, I thought it was so funny. I love Robson Downey, so it was so interesting. I couldn't watch it, knowing that that's
Really?
going to be me in like however many months. I
Is it not a bit dramatic though?
Yes, but also
no, it
Like,
felt
is it
too
supposed to be
too
real?
realistic. Yeah.
But
I
he
think
was
that's why-
he was a doctor back
But
in
it was showing a
2006.
lot of like all the bad stuff, and then
Yeah.
like a few episodes in, it showed you like a little glimmer of like,
Mm.
oh, like it's so nice being around like O&G.
Watching the Adam Kay one where it's here, and it was a while ago, but also it's not that different now. It just feels a bit too realistic.
Yeah.
But the first episode just made me feel really uncomfortable. Like I just really didn't enjoy watching it. I kind of thought like I don't really want to watch this knowing that this is something that I'm gonna then do as my job. Like I don't know, it was all really horrible. But then everyone I've spoken to like on placement and stuff who's seen it, all the doctors have just said like it's just really unrealistic and it paints like a really bad picture of what the NHS is like. So it's like really unfair that it's being portrayed in that way, which I guess is not great for like patient expectations or like
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't really
ideas
be
of the
making
NHS.
programmes like that, because you do have to be conscious that what you put out there, people are going to think. I think all the ones that are like real life documentary type things, like with the hospital in COVID, that shows people what it actually like, whereas the ones where it's a bit of a sitcom or it's not
Like a
real life, like a drama,
Yeah.
it can portray a bit of like a wrong picture of what the NHS is like, and then people get the wrong idea.
One really big interface between real life medicine TV doctors that affect quite a lot of patients is surrounding CPR. Now on TV, CPR is often depicted as a happy ending in a lot of cases, and sort of when no matter who the patient is, no matter how unwell the patient is, they'll do it and they'll bring back the patient and it will be a sort of come back and everything is okay. And in real life CPR isn't like that. And in fact, the public's understanding of CPR has been affected so much to that extent that often when we're explaining things like do not resuscitate disorders or explaining things about CPR and how actually effective it is, we often have to dismiss that myth.
But do you ever find like when you watch like dramatised things like Grey's Anatomy that you're like, you can like tell what they're doing wrong, or like, oh, I actually knew that. Like,
Yeah.
So interesting, you pick up on little things like if they've got the stethoscope in the right way.
Yeah, or if they
that got
they
a bang?
defibrillate
Oh,
a
yeah.
non-shockable rhythm. It'll be asystole on the cardiac monitor, and then they're like, and it's like that's not gonna do anything.
So I was watching Casualty. Sometimes I like it. I watched it with my parents when I was back home, and I was like, they said like they had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. I was like, looks like Starlight. I was like telling them all about it. Like if I'm in the mood for it, but it is just like complete overload sometimes.
My mum takes quite a lot of interest in it. She like nods, and then I'm like, yeah, do you get it? She's like, no. Bless her.
Would I let myself be filmed as a doctor? I think I would, yeah. I think it'd be a great time capsule. I think obviously it's very clear that they would only film appropriate, because there's a lot of paperwork for them to do that, appropriate scenes. I would probably prepare as much as I can for it somehow, but in general I just try and be the best doctor I can. But I feel like it works as a good time capsule. It's really nice for any relatives that often only hear about work from what you say about it to be able to watch you, and friends to be able to watch you. It's quite instrumental in terms of educating the public, things like documentaries and stuff. So I'd love to be on it.
Thank you.
I feel like if you're like, no, don't film me, is it either like an ego thing where you're like, oh, don't film me, or is it like, I'm incompetent?
Yeah, I mean, I've got something to hide.
If someone came in like just filming like for the news or anything, like, why have you got an obligation against that? Like, surely open doors.
The BBC doing a documentary, would you be happy to be filmed?
Only if I felt like I was confident in what I was doing and they were filming it. Although in a way, there's always going to be times when you're not like doing your best. So maybe they do need to have a bit of the real side.
Would I let myself be filmed? Yeah, I'd say so. Imagine getting roasted by Bill and the whole country gets to see it. I've seen some of them before. But it'd be a nice memory. You've been on TV, you can show people
A nice memory if you cry.
Yeah, they might be like some of the darkest hours of our life. I don't know if I would want to read.
No, they won't put that in.
If it was a correct time with the correct place, yeah, 100%. I don't mind myself getting filmed, but certain situations, certain scenarios, I would not like to get filmed because, I don't know, it's just like it'd be between me and the patient.
Would I ever let myself be filmed as a doctor? I feel like if it was like a reality sort of documentary thing, yeah, I wouldn't mind, as long as they're not in the way.
Would you let yourself be filmed?
I think it depends on the situation, because something that's fast paced and something might go wrong, you don't really maybe want that on film, because it does happen in real life, things go wrong or you forget something, and it doesn't really matter. But if it's on film and people use that without context, then it can look really bad. So I don't know. I would have to see.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I probably would let myself be filmed, to be honest. I don't mind making an idiot of myself. That's one thing I think I've lost, is all my dignity gets lost during medical school. Like, I've been grilled by consultants so many times and got the answers wrong so many times, I just don't care. So if the whole nation wants to watch me get answers wrong and like mess up taking patients' blood, then yeah, of course I'll do it.
Medicine can sometimes be a bit of a like cultural zeitgeist, because like not only do you say like there's like certain jokes, certain references, often people always say, oh, you always talk about medicine and stuff like that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I think that everyone talks about their work and everyone talks about what they do. And so when you see these TV series which sort of like depict doctors and they show like treatment, or they make jokes based off treatment, stuff like that, sometimes it's quite nice to feel recognised, or to sort of see a more light-hearted version of the things that you understand and know.